Andrew's bullseye.
Well, welcome back to the action here in Wigan at the first UK Open qualifier of 2018, and we have a board final.
And the bullseye.
No, we don't have a board semi-final. They're trying to get to the board final against Jeffrey Disvan, who we just saw knock out Stephen Bunting, the seeded player on this board, the world number 19, beaten 6-4 by the young Dutchman. And Brian Raman, a young Belgian who's been
100.
making waves today here at Robin Park in Wigan. Knocked out Danny Noppert in a shock opening result before seeing off Kevin Munch. Now looking to add Andrew Gilding to his hit list.
140.
Really good performances from him, impressive displays so far, really pleasing to watch as well, gets on with the game. Let us know what you think of his prospects. Join the conversation yourself. Hashtag UKOQ1.
$59.
Disvan, by the way, by winning that match, he moves into the money placers, the two board finalists. On each board are the only players to cash.
140.
£250 for getting there, and for progressing further than that, 750, which, as I've mentioned throughout the day, was enough for the majority of players to qualify for the UK Open finals last year. Only 3 players
32
missed out with that amount. On count back,
$121.
So Gilding with the 1-2-1 setup, and it's a much more bright start to his
81
match than the previous one. He didn't finish in 21 darts in the first leg of his last match. He's out in 13 this time round, and with a break of throw. Well, put them on a pinhead.
139.
Gilding getting going.
60.
And has Raman run out of steam? He was superb against Danny Noppert. Equally as good against Kevin Munch.
60. $59.
21 years old, Brian Raman. He plays on the Development and Challenge Tour. He was coming into this weekend on a couple of defeats on the Challenge Tour, having lost to Ben Burton and Stephen Kirkby. The last victory, a 5-0 win against Kirk Reynolds
100.
here last weekend.
$174. 100.
May have heard that world champion Rob Cross was beaten earlier today by Corey Cadby. Can also confirm that Raymond van Barneveld has been knocked out of today's tournament, as Gilding doubles his lead in this one. Barney beaten by Christoph Ratajski.
93.
6-5 defeat for van Barneveld.
$60. 100.
Players that have made it through to the board finals, and as a result have earned some cash at least towards their totals for qualifying for the UK Open, include the likes of Michael Smith, John Henderson, Vincent van der Voort. Mervyn King is going to take on Luke Humphries in his board final in an interesting match. Humphries a player to watch, won the development tour last year.
60.
Simon Whitlock also through to the last 64, as is Michael van Gerwen, the world number 1. And Adrian Lewis looking to return to form in 2018.
97.
Robert Rickwood, the man who beat
180.
Dave Chisnell, one of the biggest 180-hitters in the game. May well have just booked his place in mine now, because he's beaten Shane Burgess 6-0 to become the second man to move through to the last 32. The first
140
was Wales's Robert Owen, who's seen off James Wade. Now Raman looking to get himself into this match.
32.
Well, a miss at double 18 allows Gilding a go at 114. We saw MVG take this out 3 times last night. What can AVG do with this? I'm not sure if his middle name actually does begin with a V.
74.
But he couldn't copy the world number 1.
Game shot.
And that allowed Raman to halve the deficit.
$45.
Was made to work against Kevin Munch. He raced into a 4-leg lead. That soon disappeared, and he ended up 5-4 down before forcing and winning a last leg decider.
$140.
Just to give you an idea of how players are performing today, Robert Owen, who's beaten James Wade, he's played 3 matches, he's averaging over 100 for today's tournament. As Raman rattles in another maximum.
$59. $30. $91.
Well, a slip from Andrew Gilding there has not left himself a finish, and he could be made to pay because Raman's fired in at 140. And Andrew Gilding with an unfathomable equation, 166, no possible outs. And Raman wants 58 to level.
No score.
Well, he's ended up busting his score. The single 18 would have left double top. And you can just see him having a harsh word with himself in the background, because having been in a position where he should have punished his opponent, the bullseye would have seen him punished himself. In the end, it's a let-off. Now, the single will do. Yeah, throw one of your darts on the floor and chuck the other one in double top. 2-2. The Belgian hasn't really hit the heights that he'd shown previously today. He's averaging 6 or 7 points lower than his
96
running total. In contrast, Andrew Gilding has raised his game somewhat in this one.
41. 125. $30. 60.
Tell us who you think is going to come through and win the first UK Open qualifier of 2018. Use the hashtag UKOQ1. Peter Wright was a dominant force in last year's series of events, and he went on to win the finals themselves.
140.
Won half of the 6 UK Open qualifiers. 2 were won by Simon Whitlock, the other one by Michael van Gerwen.
$180.
Well, the maximum from Andrew Gilding gets him down to a finish, but Raman on a rather more comfortable one. He wants double top.
40.
1-3-1 then. Which route for Goldfinger? He went conventional and he failed to find the first target.
59. Game shot.
And he finds himself trailing once again.
$100. 81. $140.
Couldn't find room for the third dart.
$177.
But Raman did fire in 3 big trebles. Gets himself in contention here for a break of throw and would really take control of this contest if he were able to do that. And he's going the right way about it.
90.
Well, slightly unfortunate not to have found his way down to a lesser finish than 153.
$140.
Good response from Andrew Gilding. He'll return,
64.
Looking to restore parity at 3 apiece. Double 4 then.
Game shot.
Yeah, he needed that. With Raman poised on 89 behind him.
97.
But Gilding really has upped his game to take on the 21-year-old Belgian. But I've had an eye on the results. He'll have known that Brian had seen off Danny Noppert and Kevin Munch.
$58.
And we may well be seeing Andrew Gilding again in a few moments' time if he continues to play at this standard. We would have to break the throw. Averaging around 10 points higher than his opponent, but the only score that matters, the numbers in the legs 1 columns.
39. $101.
Well, Gilding would have needed 3 big trebles to leave himself an out. So Raman favourite to edge ahead again.
60. $94.
Well, is he going to go tops? No, he stayed there for double 10.
120.
Had the choice. Andrew Gilding last time faced with this equation went for treble 20 first dart. And again he's gone for it, and again he's failed to find it. So Raman won't mind missing the big finish if he can return to peg double 10 this time around. And that is exactly what he has done, and he moves within 2 legs for place in today's board final. Some cash on his prize pot towards the UK Open finals. And a battle against another 21-year-old hotshot in Jeffrey Desvan. All about the youth on Streamboard 2. $100. $135. $100. Well, Raman has a chance here to really make some ground on the Gilding throw.
9.
The switch leaves him on a finish, and Gilding needs to find himself a couple of trebles here, or all of a sudden this could be slipping away. Well, he needs a treble just to leave himself a checkout. It's a big 3-figure combination, as is this. It's not going to go, but he'll hope to be back and put himself in a position of throwing for the match. Unless Andrew Gilding can find 150. Well, he might want to stay there, or does he go across to 18s? He did stay there.
110.
Leaves himself double top. But Raman. Oh, but what?
Score.
You can see how big that opportunity was. He knows it. Has he blown a huge, huge chance? Well, he was in a similar position earlier on when he raced into that lead against Kevin Munch. Ended up being forced into a last leg decider. Well, actually ended up having to force that last leg decider. 4-0 up, 5-4 down.
100.
So it's not new territory for the young Belgian.
58. $140. 41.
Well, Gilding's got himself into a decent position, but that 42 has just opened the door back for Raman, and he's gone charging through it with a maximum. That gets him down to a finish as well. Gilding looking to hit back. Down he goes to the 19s.
99.
To leave himself 120. But he missed a big chance in the previous leg. This would be a huge shot. What a shot that is. 164 checkout, and he blows it a little kiss towards the bullseye. Sweet as a nut from Brian Raman. And having made a mess in the previous leg, he's more than made up for it there.
95.
Well, sublime shooting from Brian Raman.
40.
And also a bit of swagger, a bit of style on the hockey as well. Young Belgian hotshot. He's seen what Dimitri van den Berg's done. He's won the World Youth Championship and gone on to reach the quarters at Ali Pali. And Raman is racing to the finish line now.
57.
Gilding needing to dig deep and find something.
85.
But a technical breakdown in the throw. And this man is holding all the aces now.
140.
And he's not letting up. He's a cool kid, and we may well be seeing much more of him. Because as long as he can clean up 124 in half a dozen darts, he'll be in a board final against Jeffrey Desvan, and what a contest that could be. Does the right thing. No need for the fanfare finish, even though he did pin the bullseye in the previous leg. So Brian Raman will return for double top.
91.
To topple Andrew Gilding, and it's all down to that 164 checkout. Double 10 in the end, gets the job done, and we'll have a battle of the 21-year-olds in the board final here. Jeffrey Desvan will take on that man, Brian Raman. A 164 checkout on the way to a wonderful 6-4 victory against Andrew Gilding.